Fine, thank you very much. In this video we try to show you how young children can handle the equipment. Recently we equipped a full classroom with large touch screen monitors, and we began to develop a school readiness test for children. So we just wanted to demonstrate that even children who still cannot read can use the technology. They receive the instructions through the headphone, and there are some sophisticated tasks related to the basic reasoning processes and basic skills that are necessary for the beginning of schooling, and we would like to implement also these in wide scale and develop these areas. It's just a demonstration how broadly the online assessment and capabilities of Tao can be used. As for the presentation, first I would like to outline the general goals of our present project. We are in the middle of a large-scale project. This project is divided into two major phases, and we are close to complete the first phase. So I would like to outline the main goals of the first phase and also some goals of the second phase. Also I would like to speak a little bit about the integration of such an assessment system into the entire educational system. In Hungary we have several education assessments. I'm sorry for this figure, it's in part in Hungarian, but I'm sure you can catch the message of the project. Hungary participates in the major international assessment projects, what you can see in the upper side. Hungary participates in PERS, which is a grade-based assessment, assesses students' reading capabilities at the 4th grade. We participate in TIMSS assessments, which assesses students' mathematics and science achievements at 4th grade, 8th grade. And also we participate in PRISA assessments, which is an age-based sampling, so our students may be in the 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th grade when they are 15 years old. We have also a national assessment system implemented. It's in use in year 2003, and it means that every student in grade 4, 6, 8 and 10 is assessed at the end of the school year. Every student in reading and mathematics. The upper grades, grade 6, 8 and 10, is called assessment of basic competencies. The style of the assessment and the philosophy and the framework of the assessment of this part is very close to that of the PISA assessment, so students' competencies, applicable knowledge is assessed. And recently, this assessment can be longitudinally connected at student level. But it takes place every 2 years, so even if it's student level, it cannot be used to follow, to monitor students' developmental processes. The basic purpose of this national assessment system is a kind of a soft accountability. It monitors the institutions, and schools can be compared to other schools. That's the basic purpose of the national assessment system, and helps schools to improve their achievements based on this information. We have an assessment at the 4th grade, also carried out in every year. This is quite close to the diagnostic assessment. The results of this assessment is not centrally processed, only a representative sample of the data are centrally processed, and the national norms are established, and the schools can use these national norms to compare their students to the national norms. So the idea is that the results of this 4th grade assessment is locally processed at school, and somehow it can be used to identify students' progress. But it's a very just estimation of the students' actual developmental level. We have also a diagnostic assessment instrument, which is actually a school readiness test. We have national norms for it, and students have the brochure, the booklet, and the schools have these brochures, and students can be assessed by teachers several times at the beginning of schooling. They can be used to monitor students' development. Their basic skills can be assessed, which are really ready for the beginning of schooling. But this is not mandatory, so schools can use if they like. And because if it is paper-based, it's very time-consuming, so not every school uses it. What we would like to do is to replace this two diagnostic assessment instrument with an online assessment system, and that is what I'm going to talk about in more detail. So we would like to cover the first 6 grades with an online assessment system. That's the main purpose of the project. The project is part of the New Hungary Development Plan. So the European Union provides the new member states with some resources to upgrade their infrastructure, including educational infrastructure. And this project is divided into 2 phases. The first phase began in April 2009 and ends in this August. And we hope that we can launch the second phase in this September, which can last until the December 2013. So this is a large-scale national project which is carried out in broad international cooperation. The first phase, the work of the first phase is grouped into 7 major work packages, and I just would like to outline the goals of these work packages, or content of these work packages. The first and major part of this program is developing frameworks for reading, mathematics and science. These are the 3 major domains of the assessment: reading, mathematics and science. I'm going to speak about this part in more details. The second one is exploring further domains, which is not so well elaborated as these 3 major domains. We are developing item banks, and we are developing a platform for the assessment. This is actually Tao. We also are assessing students with special education needs. The idea is that if students are integrated, the teaching is integrated, and they are participating in the same schooling, then they should be assessed in a similar way. There are 2 main forms of assessing students with special education needs: by computer, online. It means that we develop some specific tasks designed for students with special education needs. These tasks are integrated into the main item banks. That is one part. And the other part is that we are developing specific interfaces for handicapped students. So there are students who are paralyzed, who cannot move their hand, so they cannot handle the computer, they cannot handle keyboards or mouse. So we develop them specific interfaces. For example, they can move the cursor on the screen with head movement or just eye movement. They can click, so they can participate in the assessment. About 2 or 3% of students can be assessed in this way. The students cannot be assessed on paper. There are a number of in-service training programs. There are 2 major types of in-service training programs. One is that we train teachers to be experts in educational assessment. They will be later on developers of the system, item writers and managers of the system. And there are other types of in-service training. We just show teachers how the system works, and they can be users of the system based on this training. And we also do some meta-analysis of other assessment projects to utilize the results for developing these